Hello and welcome back to another episode of the North America Gaelic Games podcast. I am your host, Gareth McAlinden. Today we have got a couple of really special guests tuning in from New York. We have Mike and Pat, who are part of the New York Police Department Gaelic Football Club. I was going to say Gaelic Games just to completely throw myself up there. But lads, thank you very much for taking the time to be with me out of your busy schedules. And I know a lot of people are looking forward to this episode. So thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yep.
Well, might as well start with the Irish lad, huh? And then get straight on to Mike. I suppose that New York accent is kind of like a somewhat off-track Irish accent, right? There's enough Irish up there in New York.
We don't have any accents down here.
Nah, definitely not. But Pat, do you want to give us a quick background about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Originally from Leitrim. I moved over about 15 years ago. I was in New York, was playing a bit of rugby, playing a bit of football, and at some point, a few guys convinced me then, hey, take the police department test, and 12 years later in the police department, here I am. So, it's been a bit of a surreal ride, really, but it's good. Took on the manager role about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's been going good ever since. We've been kicking on, so very happy with it, really.
And when you first came over, did you come over specifically for sports or over just for the summer?
No, not necessarily. I kind of came over for a summer when I was in college. Had a great time for 3 months, as you can imagine, and then finished college in Dublin, and then it was like 09, 10, things weren't doing too good really, and some family members here in New York, and it was one of those things where I might as well go to New York rather than kind of sit around at home in Ireland. So, that's kind of how it went, really.
Mike, you're up. I'm very excited about this. And just to, I love that actually. So you're actually the current chairperson of the club too. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and then maybe a little bit about the club as well.
Yes, so I grew up in Yonkers. I played underage football with St. Raymond's until I was 21. After the under-21 championship, I went on and played junior football with Barnabas. We won a couple of junior B titles there. Prior to becoming a cop, 16 years ago, I was a professional ice hockey referee. Did Division I college, minor league stuff. That like anything else, good comes to an end. So went into the police department. Been really fortunate in my career there. Been with the club since 2009, and 4 years ago, coming up on the end of my 4-year term as president now. So it's been a good ride, and I've had a lot of fun, a lot of great stories with it.
It's funny you actually bring that up. So you actually went through the youth. Did you go through the youth is it Rockland GA?
No. I did not play for Rockland at all. They were one of our bigger rivals growing up. But I played for St. Raymond's. Our biggest rival was obviously Barnabas growing up, and Rockland. Well before Rockland had that new beautiful pitch up there, but definitely did not play my youth underage football with Rockland. No way.
Yeah, I hear a lot about Rockland. Just with the whole facilities they have up there, which is top notch. Youth GA, Gaelic football and hurling, the potential up in New York with those facilities. And, there's more facilities. Look at Gaelic Park there as well. But it's definitely one thing that a lot of areas aim to be like, just in the facilities that they have and the numbers they're generating too, which is pretty phenomenal.
Without a doubt, they're the model for what things to do the right way on how to get your own field, your own clubhouse, what to do, host an event. When we play the fire department up there, we have, 3, 4, maybe even sometimes 5,000 people up there, and room to breathe. It's phenomenal. They'll be our home there for a while, playing the game against the fire department for sure, because they do such a great job.
That's brilliant. And Pat, you said you actually did a little bit of rugby as well. Who did you play for up there?
Well, I played with Lansdowne, which is the rugby club. It's kind of the Irish rugby club in New York. Great bunch of guys. I came over and there was a lot of old school Irish guys there, and when you arrive over by yourself, take you under the wing a little bit, help you out with work and everything like that. when you first started out. But had an unbelievable time with them, and I went to the police department then, and yeah, it's great, and it was kind of really the rugby that brought me back to the football a little bit in New York as well. A lot of guys, playing both sports, and kind of maybe at home I hadn't been, I kind of dropped off maybe around minor level and didn't go back for a couple of years, and then I was playing rugby with a few guys, and then I came out playing in football, and then when I played in football again, that was it, hooked right back into it, couldn't escape. So, uh, listen, good crack.
It's funny. The reason why I brought that question up is we actually have a lot of here in Worcester. So Connor plays rugby as well. So we actually have few Irish lads, but also a couple of the American lads that kind of cross over between the sports,
Yeah.
just with the different seasons too. So definitely great partnerships with local rugby clubs as well, especially for growth as well.
Yeah, it's huge.
Can you give us a little background about the current team? So you have how many teams you have there?
So we have one team now in Junior B in New York. I think when I took over 4 or 5 years ago, we were kind of, we were playing our fire department game. We were playing a lot of, like mainly social games really, and we had good numbers. We how we operate is generally, like we don't do drafts, we don't do sanctions, so you have to be a police officer really to play. Um, so that's limited on what, who's coming in, who's playing. So it's dependent on who's getting hired. A lot of the time with us now is we were taking guys on that were coming in that have been sprinters in college, played football in college, basketball, anything like that, and kind of really trying to turn them into Gaelic footballers, which has been really for us hugely successful. And we've been doing that now for a couple of years, and we put a really good, strong panel together. And really, what happened with us was, come COVID in 2020, that option of like flying anywhere was gone. The trips that we would take, those social games that we would play, was really out the window. So it kind of came to a head there, where myself and Mike and our former president and the assistant manager Brian Green, where we kind of like sat down and came to a decision like, hey, listen, the New York Championship is going. It's an option if we wanted to play in it, that we could play in it. And we kind of took a big leap in 2020, really, by entering the championship in our first season. And it was a big wake up call, but it was a great learning curve for us as well.
Mike, you want to add anything with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Patty said, for guys that weren't that didn't grow up playing football, getting the game experience really wasn't an option for them until then. And actually, that season, I think we put a team in. They had a novice team and a junior B team, and we had some guys playing 26, 27 games, which is completely unheard of. But it's one way to get your feet wet and really pick it up. So it was, like Patty said, it was a good option.
I mean, it's kind of grown and grown, really. We've consistently now, we're getting a panel of 40 guys out. Obviously, with our schedule, it's a little bit different. So it's not generally the same starting 15 for every game, let's say. You couldn't get the same. Besides the fire department game, you couldn't get the same starting 15. So, you have to be a little bit flexible. So we have a large panel. Great guys. I mean, they come out and train. We train Friday mornings before guys go to work. And they'll be out there at 10 a.m. on a Friday morning, putting, training for an hour and a half before going to work. So they really do put in the effort. It's great to see, really. Some of these guys never, played football up to a couple of years ago.
Well, it's probably great about that too, is because 10:30 on a Friday morning, you're not really competing with any other club too, right?
No.
So that's a perfect time there to kind of kick off the weekend as well.
Yeah, and it's been great to get field time or anything. Generally, we don't, you're not fighting for that hour for training with any other club,
Yeah. And so who would be? I mean, so you are in the Junior B Championship.
Yeah.
Who would be the teams on that? I'm trying to think of some of the clubs.
So there'd be, Tyrone would have a strong team in there. St. Pat's up in Connecticut, a very strong team. Westmeath would have Manhattan Gales, Dutchess County, Setanta, which would be up in Yorktown. Ourselves, the fire department, Hibernians, I think that's it. I hope I'm not leaving it.
Celtics and Barnabas would
Yeah,
sometimes have a team in there as well.
So there's a
yeah,
lot of teams in there.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we're getting minimum, 8 championship games, a summer, outside of any other games that we do play ourselves. So, there's plenty of football really all summer for us.
That's brilliant. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then I'm assuming typically championship games, and Saturdays and Sundays, kind of
But
similar to what
so that's one thing that the GA here in New York have been pretty good with us. Like Joan Henchy's pretty understanding, where she understands, like, hey, the cops aren't getting off on a Saturday or on a Sunday. All right, let's kind of like work with them. And to be fair, the other clubs work with us as well, which is nice. We're playing now Friday night against Westmeath. Next game after that is a Thursday. We're playing a lot of games at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, midweek in the evenings, because it's just easier to get guys off. And without those guys, the other clubs and Joan facilitating that, it'd be very, very tough for us to field, on the weekend. So we've been very lucky, really, how that's kind of played out for us.
Well, you brought up a good point too about having that. You guys have 40 lads there, but it's always a rotating almost 15. Not all the time. I'm pretty sure both of you lads are detectives, right?
So, yeah.
There could be days where you're right. I'm off today when I'm not, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So yeah, no, that's unbelievable. That's actually I couldn't believe actually the amount of junior B teams in that division. So
yeah.
I mean, credit to New York. Obviously, ours is a little different, because we're obviously working as a USGA.
Yeah.
And ours is like kind of a northeast, where we have some of the Massachusetts teams, Hartford.
We've a pretty good relationship with Hartford as well. We always try to get up there now every summer for a game. We do a lot of traveling as well outside in New York for games. We were just down in Nashville in October. We played down there. That was a great time, as you can imagine. And we play Buffalo Fenians as well every year. That's an annual game for us. The McCormick Cup we play for. We just had them down in May. Next year we'll probably go up to them. But we try to branch out a little bit as well. Besides the championship.
I think obviously being in Worcester, it's not too big of a drive. I'd love to get something. But that's a side note conversation there. Be focused on you lads. But Mike, just curious as well. What's your? I'm assuming families from Ireland. Where you got into the Gaelic football?
Yeah, my grandmother's from Mayo. My grandfather was born here, but my father played in the Bronx with the Fordham Shamrocks growing up, and he was big into us getting going when we were about I think probably 6 or 7. About there, my brothers and I started playing under 10s, and been to Ireland numerous times with the New York under 14, under 18 teams. I think I might have gone over with the under 18 team probably 6 times. 4 too many at 20 or 21, but as a mentor or something or other. But we had great times on those trips. They're unbelievable.
Talking about experiences, maybe yourself, Pat. Is there anything that kind of springs to mind? Maybe one on the field, maybe one off the field, as far as memories.
I think honestly, 2 years we played the Town Police Tournament. That's ourselves, the on Garda Síochána, PSNI, and London Met. We do that every 2 years, so everyone takes a turn to host it. We've had some like cracking trips, like off the field. We have it's a great, let the hair down, de-stress a little bit. We're going to London now in October again for it. The last time we were in Dublin, a big leap forward for us is we beat the PSNI in the semi-final, which was that was a huge result for us, really. Because listen, at the end of the day, the bar is set there by playing, against the Irish lads, really. That's how you're testing yourself to a certain extent. You want to be able to put a good panel together, a good squad together, and obviously go to these tournaments and compete. And for us to get that win in that semi-final was to show, it was we'd taken a big step as a club, and that was a great experience. That was like a final in itself, really, for us, winning that game. And those trips we take are just they're incredibly good crack. So they continue.
Just curious, actually, that because obviously being from Newry, where PSNI was where we are. Growing up, it was probably a little different. But now with more Catholics going into the PSNI, do you see actually a mix of maybe Catholics and Protestant playing the game?
I think they do have a bit of a mix in their club, but more importantly, they're with them and us this year. Everybody was a cop on that field playing in that day, which is tremendous. For us, especially for us to go over, with guys who've never played football before, but every single one of them carries a gun and a shield for, if not the NYPD, Yonkers, Mount Pleasant, Mount Vernon, somewhere else. They all carry that shield. All went through the academy, and to play against other cops like that and go out there is something that's, like Patty said, that's in my mind, that's the greatest game this club has ever played. I know they won the tournament in '05, but this time was really special. And even in 2013, we played the tournament in Dublin again, but we started a team of all cops to play in Crow Park, which was phenomenal. So anytime we can do that, we're just really show what we're made of, and it's testament to Patty and how he gets the guys ready to play. But those things are really special.
She's actually played in Crow Park.
Yeah, 2013.
Wow, what was that? Is that one of the same tournament, or was
it's the same tournament? Yeah, we played there again. Day one, I guess they had something going on, and we were supposed to play there this year, but apparently Garth Brooks takes over for football in October. So,
Gareth, the other Gareth. Not say too much. But yeah, I mean his concerts completely sell out in Ireland. I remember a couple of the one in Dublin that they cancelled, and yeah, it's a mess. No, but that's brilliant. And what about maybe for yourselves personally playing? What's anything stands out for you?
I know for me, I mean, listen, playing with the PD just back in '09, 2010, some of my first games when we were still playing at Gaelic Park, you'd walk out there and the place is just mobbed. People everywhere, and you march out behind a pipe band and you see it's kind of like it's like you're playing in Yankee Stadium, Madison Square Garden. It's something special. Those days are just those are really special. And then just for me, and football in general was definitely winning the double in 2014 when we had a couple of young coaches with Shane Hogan and Connor Hogan who were playing senior football and came and coached a bunch of over the hill guys, and we beat the Celtics, who had a couple of our guys from PD playing against them. So that's probably one of my favorite wins there, but never really had a bad time playing.
Yourself, Pat?
Yeah, the same thing, really. I mean, the fire department game is just, it's an unreal day, really, to be honest. The build up to it, there's, the pressure kind of really, because there's a couple of thousand people there, everyone's reaching out and best of luck, and you get out there, march behind the pipe band, and, listen, there's kind of really, there's no messing around in that game. There's some heavy, it's one of those maybe that last game really where you get away with a few, heavy tackles and hard hits and stuff maybe that you wouldn't really see anymore. But it's a serious rivalry. Everyone wants to play in it, and you're just lucky really. You go out, to be on the receiving end of a couple of wins playing them is huge really. So they were my most memorable really playing with the club. Obviously then just the trips to Belfast and London and everything in Ireland in general, just always a great time.
Even the biggest one we had was in 2020, COVID, when we weren't supposed to have anybody there. Everything was supposed to be very quiet, and every piece of paper, permit, everything had my name on it. And I'm thinking, all right, we're going to keep it quiet, no social media. They fly a helicopter 15 feet over the field. There's 4,000 people there. Thought I was going to jail that day. But that day, people were saying it was the Super Bowl because it was the first time they'd been out of the house in 6 months. So it was unbelievable.
That's brilliant. Oh, that is brilliant. I love it. And then actually, I can actually relate to that because I've been to a couple of I know like Fenway had the Boston Police and the fire department hockey games. I know, Mike, obviously your background, but some of them games get pretty nasty. The skill kind of, you're right. that last 10 minutes, kind of skill goes out the window, and it just is all
The
dog.
the first 10, the skill goes out the window in those games, and they just go at it. So
Speaking of those games, though, obviously you got that big rivalry between Boston and New York. I mean, we all know about that. What doesn't matter what sport it is, football, basketball, ice hockey. Uh, did Boston used to have a football team as well?
yeah, so Boston used to have a football team. I know we used to go up. They used to come down a few times. I think we played them probably 3 times during my career, and then in 2011 we went up to play them for a day trip up in Boston. And after the game, they gave us the cup and they said, "Hey, we really can't field the team anymore." I think that they'd gotten a few guys from around the neighborhood to come out to get the start in 14, and they only had 2 or 3 cops. So that kind of the tradition of playing them ended there around that time. But it'd be great if they got a team back together, or anybody else anywhere in the country. We have boots and we're willing to travel.
Well, like that's actually a good thing to add on to, as far as like, what do you see the development in your club? But maybe, Pat, as you're the manager, and Mike, you're the chair. When you're thinking about growing, what can other, maybe there is a police department, fire department, in Boston or somewhere else. What advice would you give them just in order to get started?
So I would say to them to just, if you're going to get
I think
started
they
with something
will
like
just
that,
start with the
the
basics
football is
really.
going to come, but you want to make it an atmosphere because you want to get people into the games and everything. We try to make sure that we have a good atmosphere for the fans. They're going to watch the games, but have some music, have some food, make sure the drinks are cold, get the people in and build that up, and the players will come. If they see everybody's having a great time, our club has grown tremendously in the last 10 years just by guys coming in, seeing that we're having a great time. There's nothing contentious. It's a good time, and all of a sudden, these guys are like, "Hey, I played American football. I played soccer. I could try and pick this up," and they'll get that. So if you have 3 or 4 guys that know how to solo, teach another 3 or 4 guys, and down the line you're going to have bigger guys. But just make it all about having a good time at the game, and guys
And
they will come.
I agree. It's, I mean, in my opinion, Gaelic football is one of the best sports in the world. It has that right mix of, physicalness, skill, but it's also easy for people to pick up to. And, we tell anybody new to the sport, and it's like, yes, the ball is 10% of it,
Yeah,
but it's the community behind it is what draws people back. So
absolutely.
our conversation to people is pretty simple. It's about 10 to 20% ball, and the rest of it is that community piece. So, and Gaelic football, GA as a whole, not just Gaelic football, but hurling as well, it does provide that community. Obviously, you have built a phenomenal community up there. I mean, look at the people that's coming to watch those games. Like, you're talking about not even hundreds, you're talking thousands of people to come and
Yeah,
watch
I would
and
I
find it.
would say this year at Gaelic Park you probably had when New York played Mayo. They might have said 5,000 seats there, but there were many more than that there. Outside the fences and everywhere else.
Yeah.
So it grows tremendously.
So, Mike, give us a look into the future. What do you see? Maybe the club. How's it going to grow in the next couple of years? Do you potentially see, maybe branching into the hurling, branching into maybe ladies football, camogie? Obviously, given that everybody has to have the badge.
Yeah.
How do you see that grow in the next couple of years?
So definitely on the football side of it, I'd love to see us be successful here in the junior championship. Um, we got some talented guys coming up. Some guys, a lot of guys who played senior football, a couple guys who played county. They're coming on the job now. So I think being successful, winning a junior championship, and maybe moving up to that junior A or intermediate, whatever have you. I think that's our goal for football. Hurling, it's an interesting one because a lot of the guys here didn't play hurling in the youth ages. We weren't at my age group. We weren't allowed to. It was in insurance reasons. Couldn't get the coverage. But now these kids have been playing since a young age, and I'd say probably between 5 and 10 years from now they'll be eligible, old enough actually to take the police test and come along. We have a few guys who played hurling here. Killian McNamara plays goalie for Hoboken. Won a couple senior championships. Eddie Hogan, our old coach and goalkeeper, Patty Donahue, big hurling player. So definitely, if there's if we got enough guys and guys are interested, and I don't know if Patty can be the manager for hurling, but we'll pick somebody up. We do that. And for the women, ladies football here in New York is huge. Like I said, my wife plays for Kerry Donegal. There's a lot of girls on that team that are actually Yonkers cops. Not too many of them New York City cops, but Yonkers themselves, they have a decent one. And listen, if they want to play under our banner, they can. We just need to get a few more of them, and why not? The more the merrier.
You have to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's where we're at the early stages on our end of potentially starting a ladies team as well. We have Gaelic football, hurling, and you get that nice crossover where you get lads playing both. But with the ladies too, it only helps the club grow.
Yeah.
You got the families now. You said your wife plays football too. Now you got people, the whole family aspect of it. I definitely see a lot more growth with a lot of clubs around the US, especially on both sports. I mean, hurling. I don't know if I don't know how much attention you pay around to like the junior levels of hurling, but junior hurling is exploding.
Yeah.
Around the US, there's teams popping up everywhere. There's tournaments popping up everywhere, which is phenomenal to see. Same with football as well.
Yeah.
But more credit to the hurling as well, just because of that. I mean, you brought it up. Not a lot of people played it as a youth sport. Football is a little easier to pick up, where hurling just takes a little bit more time, a little bit more
the discipline and not clubbing somebody with the hurl. It's that, and I just realized the NYPD did have a bit of a ladies team a few years ago. A couple matches. Her name clicked into my head. Denise Cronin was a cop. She had a team for a little bit, so we did have one, and now we don't. But we'd look to get back into that. But
that's brilliant. No, that's brilliant. And I know you just touched on it before, but again, if there is anything that you want to kind of add in there for teams, if potentially looking in for friendlies, looking in for again, where they can maybe reach out to you guys for some advice for starting teams, for starting the club. Where's the best way to reach out to you guys so they can get in touch with you?
So probably for the best, we have on our website, NYPD Gaelic Football.org. My email's up there, PJ Doherty. You can get an email there, or Facebook or Instagram. I get those messages direct, and listen, we're always willing to help guys, give you our formula on what we do, whether it be our golf outings, our dinner dances, anything we can do to fundraise and get going and start matches. It's little things, making an event. It just doesn't have to be the game. Get the match in. Everybody wants that, but get the guys hanging out afterwards. Whenever anybody comes over, we try and get them to one of the local bars. Everybody wants to go out on McLean Avenue, listen to a bit of music, and have a good time. We got some great relationships with people, and and then you start talking with other clubs, and then you're going back and forth. We played the Wicklow Guards a ton of times, the Galway Guards. They smoke us every time, but we're great friends with them. So just reach out, make it a great event.
So just actually curious on that, because that relationship, anytime you see the New York Police Department, the Boston Police Department, they go over for St. Paddy's Day and they always get, that welcome reception. Like, how was that for you as an American going home? Like, it is going home for you, right? As an Irish American, how is that treatment for you guys when you guys go back to Ireland?
It's always great when we go over. It's they. That sounds corny, but they make movies about our police department, and everybody looks at you and they think that you're Danny Reagan and Blue Bloods, and every day you're getting into a different shooting and whatnot, and they're always asking questions and want to see, hey, can I see your badge, and how many people have you shot? And you're like, we don't shoot anybody. That's if 1 out of 500 gets into it, it's a high rate, as But we love it. Guys are over there. They treat us phenomenal. Everybody wants to hear a story, and everybody wants our gear. So it's hey, I love that top. Can I have it? And then you go home with nothing. But or here, I'll swap you this one, and it's a medium. It's a medium, and you're a double X. So
Medium player fit.
Yeah. So I know Patty. Patty gets a request from half our team. Hey, I need a schmedium. I need the player fit and that. And then you get the other guys who are like, we are not wearing player fits. Return those, and we're not doing them.
Yeah, it was funny. One of the teams in Boston I was with, we had our junior A, junior B team, and the player fit jerseys just looks hilarious. There's certain divisions that just, you know, we don't need to be player fit. Just keep them
No.
regular.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not.
For
We're not style icons. We're there for the crack.
for
We're there.
those one or two guys that that want the player fit, I call our rep. I say, hey, can you send me out an 11, a 9, and a 7 in player fit, and she's good with it. So
So, Mike, you got a couple of beautiful jerseys. I know over the last few years. Actually, I got one of them right here, which is one of the 9/11 jerseys. I was
yeah.
actually going there with a beautiful, beautiful jersey. Can you talk to us a little about some of the jerseys you have? I know like you have a couple of current ones up there that are really nice, but all have a little bit of meaning behind each jersey as well. Can you give us a little quick background about some of the jerseys and maybe some of the favorite ones of yours?
Yeah, so there's last year's jersey. There's on the website there's the blue one and the white one. They both have we call it the Cop and Kid statue. It's a picture of a police officer and a young boy. The young boy is actually when they did the statue. That's Mayor LaGuardia's son. So it's just a little bit of history. He posed as the model for the statue, but that statue is in headquarters, right below the memorial wall. All the cops who were killed in the line of duty, and then that statue. So whenever you walk right in, it's right there. And we wanted to, when we were making a jersey, we said we wanted it to be, be something that stands out for the police department. So every New York City cop knows what that is. That comes off our ID card. It's on there, and it's special. This year we kind of went with a little bit of a throwback jersey. We have the NYPD across the chest, an older royal blue. We've done some green, but I kind of really like this Cop and Kid statue myself. And then with our jerseys, we have a very special tradition. The number 23 is retired throughout our club. Nobody wears it. Nobody's allowed to order it, anything like that. It's retired for the 23 cops that were killed on 9/11. So if you see a 23 jersey, it's going to be in a frame. There's actually one here behind me in my house that the club presented to me in 2019. So not very many people have them framed and whatnot, but it's very important to us.
Beautiful story, though. I mean, I'm a firm believer of jerseys that have meanings. You see some of the jerseys, like I know a couple of years ago, last year in Denver, they had the USGA Nationals jersey, but it had the Rocky Mountains built into
Yeah.
the jerseys, or it had them local touches. I'm trying to think of a couple of other like local clubs that had, local meanings and meanings to that specific club. So really, really love the idea, and like even looking at the stars and stripes in that blue one, like, really, really beautiful. And is that you guys designed that, or?
Yeah. So myself and our assistant manager Brian Green, we kind of spearhead a lot of them. We kind of bounce the ideas back and forth, come up with a few ideas, and then men the people. I let the boys decide. We throw them out in a WhatsApp poll, and we see what we get, and we go from there. And then we always do a special jersey for the International Police Tournament coming up, the Tom Langen Cup. So I have a special design coming out for the boys on that one. A little bit of a pinstripe theme. Maybe I know you Boston guys, but for the Yankees. So we'll have that coming out. Hopefully it'll be up on the website before the tournament.
That's brilliant with the jerseys, and people can purchase them right through. I believe it's through on Neil's website, right?
Yeah, you can go on Neil's website, type in NYPD GAA, and they'll come right up. And they have a ton of different options on there. We even went crazy one year when we played the Galway Guards. We were playing for Gaelic for Girls, so we got a kit of full pink jerseys, and we went out there and played pink jerseys in the snow right before St. Patrick's Day. I think we got 18 inches of snow the day before. They cleared it off for us, and we played in pink jerseys in the snow. So we'll do it all.
I can't believe you're not rocking that pink jersey tonight.
You know what? We traded them that night. I don't even have it.
Oh my God.
That's one I wish I could have back.
Yeah. Well, maybe you bring it back, right? So it's not too retro yet, right? So
yeah, we could swing it back in for a day,
Part
You know,
and then actually, people can purchase your gear online. And does any of the like the jersey costs go to support the club?
yeah, yeah, we have a deal with O'Neill's there where they help us out with our kits. So anything you spend on our jersey is going to help the club, um, and any little bit that we can help, raise. And we do so much charity work with our club every year. We've we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for cops in need. We just did our golf outing. We're going to donate that money to a cop whose son has cystic fibrosis and probably needs a liver transplant. So all that stuff that we do, all that money goes back. So if we don't have to take some money out of the club coffers to pay for our jerseys, that money goes back to help a good cause. So
Which
any support.
which truly lives by the GAA spirit. They talk about the Jonathan Burns, the new president of the GAA. I listened to a couple of his interviews, and one of the most things he's proud of is that community aspect, where he'll go 5 minutes up the road to a club in South Armagh, and the club has raised 50 grand for a
Yeah,
kid. That spirit, that GAA community spirit, is definitely something that should make anybody proud. Wearing a GAA jersey, and sounds like you guys are embracing that just like everybody else.
yeah, we do the best we can to put the best foot forward, and to we got to represent our club, but we also everything we do we have to represent the NYPD. We can't act a fool on trips. We can't embarrass the boss. That's the main thing.
No, I appreciate it. Well, Mike, I know Pat probably had to drop off. The life of
Yeah,
life of a
he's working, and I think they called him out into the street. So
lovely the life of a detective, huh?
yeah,
Just when you think you've got a little time to yourself, one phone call.
24
Off.
hours a day the phone rings.
Oh yeah. Well, Mike, I appreciate the time again. Obviously, I appreciate your commitment to the community as well, and the whole GA club there in the NYPD. And I definitely look forward to seeing you guys in the near future, whether it's on the field or if it's for pints, whatever it is. But again, thank you very much for the time.
No, absolutely. And anybody who's around September 21st, we're playing the fire department up in Rockland at 5 p.m. So come on down to that. That'd be a great day, and hopefully we can get up there and play you guys.